Housing prices in 2021 hit record highs. Yet, there is a large portion of the population who are now regretting not buying during those record highs. We are going to talk about that, and I'm going to give you my housing market prediction for 2022, as well as share with you my thoughts on if you should buy a home in 2022. Stick around. Hello, family. Real quick, for those of you who may be here for the first time, I'm Sir Ashley, and on this channel we talk about money, real estate, and the Carolinas. And while you're watching this video, if you gain any value from it, go ahead and tap on that like button. We're a family here, so consider subscribing if you want to join. So for most of 2021, I heard people telling me that they were not going to buy and they're waiting on house prices to come down. And I get it. I see their perspective, but I believe they're thinking about things in the short term. And when you buy a home, yes, it impacts you in the short term, but I like to take the 30,000-foot view, where I'm seeing things and looking at things in a long-term perspective. Unless you're a real estate investor that buys houses, fixes them up, and resells them quickly, you should look at real estate as a minimum of a 7-year commitment. When you buy, plan on holding on to that property for at least 7 years. So that's the foundation for the rest of the other stuff that I'm going to talk about in this video. I came across this article this week, and there was a couple, Allie and Steve, who were like a lot of my clients and buyers out there. They were looking at prices in early 2021 and thought, these prices are way too high. I mean, prices at that time were at record highs. So Allie and Steve and a lot of other buyers out there decided to wait, only to be shocked that prices were still going up into the spring, into the summer, into the fall, and now here we are in winter, and prices are still at record highs. They keep setting new records. And now, almost a year later, they regret waiting on buying a house because they are about to be totally priced out of the housing market. And to add insult to injury, rental prices have gone up drastically as well. The biggest mistake that Allie and Steve made, along with a lot of other people, is that they looked at the purchase price. And oftentimes we get sticker shock when you see that purchase price. But they did not take the next step to see what the actual monthly mortgage payment will come out to be. So while prices were high when they were initially looking in late 2020 and early 2021, and they decided not to buy then, the interest rates at that time were at all-time lows. December 2020 saw mortgage rates for 30-year fixed mortgages hit 2.68%, according to Freddie Mac. And those rates are still all-time lows. I mean, they're the lowest they've ever been in our history. And since December 2020 and January 2021, home prices and interest rates have only gone up and show no signs of coming down. Yes, all real estate is hyperlocal, meaning every place and every market is a little bit different. But if you live in an area with good jobs, good schools, and people are moving to the area, my advice to you is to buy sooner than later. But before I give an in-depth answer as to if you should buy a home in 2022, I would like to do two things first. First, I want to ask you, I don't want to assume, did you wait and put off buying a home in 2021? Please pause this video and leave your answer in the comment section. And secondly, let's hear from other experts about what they have to say about the 2022 housing market. CNET said on December 26th that they expect it to be another tough year for buyers due to inflation and supply chain issues and higher prices. And on December 28th, CNN reported that home sales are on track to reach the highest level in 15 years, with an estimated 6 million homes sold in 2021. CNN expects inventory to get tighter and for home prices to keep going up. They also foresee that first-time home buyers will continue to face challenges getting into the housing market. In fact, in the fall of 2021, first-time home buyers were at the lowest levels since 2008. Yahoo Finance published an article on December 26th, and in that article, some of the experts said that home appreciation could slow down in 2022 and that you shouldn't expect 15% home appreciation year over year. They foresee mortgage rate increases and that while there will be options for buyers, inventory will still be low when you compare it to historical numbers. Now, before I tell you what I believe is going to happen in the 2022 housing market and if it's a good time to buy, I want to ask you one more question. So I need your input in the comment section. I know I'm asking you to do a lot this last video of 2021. Historically, over time, has housing prices gone up or have they decreased in price? Also, what about rents? Historically, over time, have rents gone up or have rents gone down and become less expensive over time? I know that I try to provide you with housing market updates, and when I provide you with these updates, they're just snapshots of the housing market. And oftentimes I compare the present day to a year or 2 years before. And I do that so we can have a dialogue and a common barometer. But as I said earlier, when you buy a home, I see it as a 7-year commitment. So if you plan on buying a home and do not plan on living in it for at least 7 years, then please, I don't take any offense, and I hope you don't either. The rest of this video is not for you. So you can just go ahead and leave the video because what I'm saying does not apply to you. Back in May of June of 2020, right after the lockdowns nationally and in the Carolinas, I was telling anybody that would listen to buy a home right then. And if you've taken my advice and purchased a $357,000 home back in May of 2020, and by the way, that was the average sales price of a home in Raleigh, North Carolina at that time, that same home could easily be worth more than $460,000 today in just a year and a half. You could have easily gained over $100,000 in equity. And I get it. Some of the naysayers out there are going to say, well, that sounds good, but you don't really get to take advantage of it. But that's where you're wrong, because you could have refinanced your home and gotten rid of your PMI and made your mortgage payments even lower. Real estate is truly a beautiful asset. So if you plan on keeping your home for over 7 years, yes, I believe you should buy in 2022, but you should do so sooner than later. And here's what I expect in the 2022 housing market. Prices will continue to go up, but appreciation will slow to a reasonable 8 to 9% as opposed to the double-digit appreciation in the past 2 years. But with that said, 8 to 9% home appreciation every year is still an excellent rate of return because historically, housing appreciates at 3 to 4%. So I'm telling you that home appreciation will slow down compared to the last 2 years, but it will still be double the historical averages. The next thing I foresee moving on into 2022 is that the people on the margins will continue to be frustrated. And what do I mean by that? I mean that the people who were just able to get qualified for around $350,000 last year, but decided to wait, will find out that it's even more difficult to find a quality home in that same price point. The third thing I see moving on into 2022 is that buyers will get a double shock of reality because not only will prices be higher, but interest rates will be higher. So you'll be able to qualify for less of a home purchase price than you would have in the last year. Rents will continue to rise, but they should level off in third quarter or fourth quarter of 2022. In 2022, I see that demand will still be very, very high as more millennials look to buy homes and just establish roots for their families. Now, this is where I differ from CNN based on all the other news I am reading, not only local news, but nationally and worldwide news. I believe that supply chain issues and delays will ease around late first quarter of 2022. Currently, we are accustomed to about a 7 to 12 month time frame for a home to be built. I think we will see this time frame decrease to anywhere from 5 to 7 months. So as I see the supply chain easing, I believe there will be more inventory hitting the markets. Builders will be able to build more quickly, but due to the high demand, prices will continue to rise, although at a slower rate. Another prediction I have is that interest rates will end 2022 around 3.8 to 3.9%. Now back to talking about inventory. I foresee that homes will be sitting on the market a little longer with that increased inventory. But please do not get it twisted. It is still a seller's market and there is not going to be a housing crash. But buyers, especially buyers in the $625,000 range and above, will be allowed to be more choosy and be able to negotiate their pricing. They will be able to negotiate their pricing because there will not be as much competition in that higher end market, because less people will be able to get qualified because of the rise in interest rates. Family, it's the end of 2021, and I appreciate all of you for rocking with me. It has been an amazing year, and I want to thank you for all your support, positive messages, and just growing with me. Again, I appreciate you. Be safe. Hug your loved ones. I'm Sir Ashley. I will see you all in 2022. Talk soon.